Hey everyone, my name is Catherine and welcome to my channel. I am on a 2-week trip with Cork Expeditions traveling around the Arctic. We're going to Svalbard and Greenland and Iceland, and right now we're in Svalbard. We are finishing up and I'm filming this the night before a little intro just in case I don't have time or forget the next day. Tomorrow it will be our last day in Svalbard and we will start out the day exploring more of Svalbard, maybe do something else after lunch, but at some point during the day tomorrow, either the midway point or later in the day, we'll start heading to Greenland, which will, I'm assuming, take a couple of days. So it'll be sad to say bye to the Svalbard part of this voyage, but I'm also really excited to see Greenland. And the director of this cruise or this voyage was saying that he typically recommends 8 days in order to see all of what Svalbard has to offer, and we only had about 4 full days, and that we got to see everything. We got to see all the animals that people typically see when they're here: the Arctic foxes, the beluga whales, the reindeer, polar bears, walruses. Like, we saw all of that. We saw all of that yesterday or today on its own. So he said we really lucked out in that regard, and yeah, that we just got lucky in general. So I really wanted to see Greenland, and so I had to sacrifice less days in Svalbard so I could see Greenland, because I've never been to Svalbard or Greenland, so I'm really excited for that. But let's get the day started. Good morning everybody. I wanted to go and have breakfast from 8:30 to 9, so I'm just about on time with getting ready for the day. Just woke up, got dressed, did the usual, and sounds like we're going to do a Zodiac cruise in the morning. And then from there, I'm not sure if we're doing any other activities off the boat, because I know we have to start our journey to Greenland. And I know the polar plunge is also happening today, but I did that last year when I was in Antarctica, so I am leaning towards not doing it because it was a lot of mental, I guess, obstacles for me to do it the first time, thinking it was a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I did not think I was going to be going to the Arctic the following year, so we'll see. But I just don't want to pressure myself because it's supposed to be all fun. So yeah, if you came to the Arctic, would you do the polar plunge? And would you do the polar plunge if you'd done it the year before? Just kind of curious. But I'm just proud that I've done it in general in Antarctica, so I don't want to make myself feel bad. But anyway, I'm going to go eat. It is absolutely stunning outside. I'm in front of the balcony, so let me show you the views. So this is what it's looking like. So beautiful. Also, if you're curious about the food situation, so typically what it's like is we have a buffet breakfast, a buffet lunch, and the meals are usually like hour and a half that we can go and eat. And then for dinner we have like a sit down meal with a menu, and it's like a, I guess, 4-course menu, because we can choose a starter or appetizer, a soup, a main, and a dessert. But you can choose multiple of, it's like a set menu, but you can choose as much as you want. So some people won't do a main dish and they'll do 2 starters or something like that. Like you can get multiple mains. So there's no limit to how much you can order, but it is a sit down style. So it's kind of nice that there's that change up and it feels a little more fancy, I guess, for dinner. So that's what it looks like. I've noticed they've definitely been reusing some of the same foods. Like I've seen couscous been used in a lot of different creative ways, but that makes sense because we're on a ship. So everything that we are using is all here, and like we've been in such remote places. The last place I've seen was Longyearbyen, which is the most northernest city in the world, and that's still like a very small town of 2,500 people, which was surprising. When you're there, it does not feel like there's that many people living there. And in the last couple of days we haven't seen any city. It's literally just been us and the wildlife. So yeah, it's just been crazy, but also just really cool. So anyway, let's go get some breakfast. Morning. Hi. Morning. All right, I'm all dressed, ready to go. They just called my group, so I'm gonna go. I've been getting a little bit cold on my neck area because I need to go. They just called my group. But my neck has been cold, so I'm gonna wear this to hope that it helps. I feel like I'm running late now because they just said final call, but they just called my group 30 seconds ago. So I'm gonna go now and see you on the Zodiacs.
Fish coin and then drop it over the side. And for him, that was the claim to the North Pole. What's that? He bought it, yeah, for £1.
Probably the last of the empire.
Trying to get the
Tunnel in the rock somehow, and it must feed up through the glacier, otherwise it can flow that fast. Eventually start to settle on a line, and they become like a deck of cards, and it can slide over itself. So the ice at the bottom is what's called the plastic flow zone. So that part of the glacier is flowing, sliding across the bedrock, sliding across other layers in the snow and ice. And the stuff at the top is still all these crystals that are not aligned with each other, and they can't, when the ice goes over a bump like that's right in the middle of that glacier there, the bottom ice can flow smoothly, but the top ice, it can't move as quickly, so it breaks apart into crevasses. So that's why you get crevasses at the surface.
get those pieces of ice coming shooting up like that. So everybody please sit down, please sit down, please sit down. We are going to be retreating.
Big wave?
Look at the size of that wave coming out. Okay, I'm spinning around.
Thankfully for us, there's a fair bit of ice in the water close, so it'll be damping things
Yeah,
down.
you guys can just look at this wave coming behind us there, everyone. So if you guys know this, stay seated and watch behind.
Yeah, sounds great.
Wow, that was huge.
So what you saw there, and will continue to see if you pay attention, is called glacier calving, which is the natural process of ice breaking off the edge of a glacier to form an iceberg or ice fragments. This is completely natural because it is the edge of the glacier, and the glacier's movement can cause stress on the edge, which will then make it prone to breaking. And this is completely normal. Sometimes it does indicate signs of climate change depending on the way it breaks and how big and how often, but in general, it is a normal process, and we were not expecting it to break so much. And of course, chunks of ice flying into the water will cause huge waves and a potential danger. So that is why we were all very mesmerized by it happening, but also we had to leave pretty quickly. I didn't get the biggest breaks on camera, but there was a lot of ice that was falling off the edge of the glacier. So it's pretty cool.
Hey everyone, I'm now back from the Zodiac cruise, and I believe that was the last one of Svalbard, like I was saying. So now I'm not sure what we're doing later, but we'll see. But it was really nice. I feel like I definitely get more excited about seeing wildlife and animals versus the natural beauty of the ice and the rock formations and the mountains, but that's also very beautiful. And it was nice to have a Zodiac cruise that was focused on more so that. And we even had the glaciologist, so the person that's specialty is glacial ice and what he's, really intelligent in and knows a lot about. So that worked out really well. We had our driver and then we had that glaciologist. And it was nice to be able to have a focus on the natural beauty again of the mountains and the ice and the glaciers versus only solely focusing on animals, which I feel like we've been only doing this whole time. But again, that's like my favorite, so I don't mind. But it was nice to have that. So we were able to see the beautiful mountains and some waterfalls, and then we went up to the glacial ice, which has thousands and thousands of years worth of ice and like air trapped inside that's thousands and thousands of years old that hasn't seen the light of day, which is crazy. And I didn't get it on camera because it happened so fast and my reaction time wasn't fast enough, but there was a huge amount of ice that just fell from the glacier, and that's normal. That happens quite frequently. I remember learning about that when I was in Patagonia, and it was crazy. It caused a lot of wave action, and I tried to get it after, but that was really cool to be able to see. We were there at perfect timing. I just wish I got it on camera, but you don't know when things are going to happen. I also have a mark on my head I just noticed from my hat, but I'm glad I wore that. It kept my face pretty warm. Just my hands are like cold now, but yeah, that was really cool to be able to see that. And then we had like a good, it felt like 15 minutes of driving or cruising on the Zodiac on the way back. And it's 11:10, so lunch will be at 12:30. And I think we'll just bop around the ship and yeah, go to Greenland, which I'm excited about. I can't get over this like line on my head, so funny. But yeah, thanks for coming along. Right, as you can tell, I'm dressed. I thought the last call or the last thing we were doing was the last thing for the day when we were leaving the ship, but turns out no, we're doing a landing where we're going to actually go on land and walk around. My team was called, so I'm like quickly getting dressed and I'm gonna head out, but just wanted to preface that apparently we're going out again, which I didn't know, so let's go. We have landed. This is our first perimeter walking where we have guides that are kind of creating a perimeter where we can't walk past them for safety reasons, obviously. And unlike the guided hikes, we have a guide with us telling us stories, whereas this is just free roaming basically, which was more like what we did in Antarctica. So yeah, we have an hour and a half here, so till 4:30, and there's no wildlife that is expected to be here. It's more so enjoying like the mountains, the glaciers, as you can see behind me. So absolutely beautiful. Today is a glacier, mountain geology, glaciology type of day. And I'm just going to attempt hiking the tallest point because we do have a good amount of time here. And honestly, I'm not working out on this trip and I've been eating a lot, so it's probably good for me, even though it's hard and I feel like I maybe wore too many layers, but it's not too bad. So let's attempt this, feel good after, and yeah, let's do it. This is what I am going to attempt. My friend is up there, and then go up to the tippy top right there. As you can see, lots of different rocks, and it's all just out in nature, so I have to watch where I'm going so I don't fall over. But yeah, really cool.
I mean, we're a national program, and we have, it's more rural, so it's all the north, right? It's all the northern communities, but with the way things have been kind of going lately, we had a lot of the big...
I basically start at the shoreline way down there. A workout. Made it to the top, and now we are going down. Really watching my step, and we're the last people going down. Very uneven. I'm back from the unexpected hike because, like I said earlier, I honestly thought we just had that one Zodiac cruise earlier today, and then we were done with going off the ship for Svalbard, and we were going to spend then, I think it sounds like 2 full days sailing to Greenland, but looks like we still had the hike. So I'm proud of myself for going all the way up to the top that we could go to, because you know, hiking's hard and I have so many layers on, so I have limited mobility, but I work out pretty often back home, and here I'm not working out at all, and it's buffet style most meals, so I was like, it'll be good for me to get a workout in, which is exactly what I did, and it was absolutely beautiful up top, as you saw. And on the way back, they usually bring us tea or coffee. Usually it's like tea, but today it's hot chocolate, so I'm sure it's really good. It's just hot, so I'm gonna wait. I forgot to bring my water on the hike though, so I just downed some water. And now I'm going to get undressed and change into my ship clothes that's more comfortable, leggings and a sweater. And yeah, so it'll be nice to have 2 days at sea, honestly, because it is really fun to go off the ship. Like, that's the whole point of these trips, is to see the wildlife, but it is also very exhausting to multiple times like get fully dressed up in all my layers and then go out, and then like today I was hiking on top of everything and then go back, undress, and then have to put my layers back on. And yeah, so, or even when you're on the ship but you want to go out on the decks to view wildlife, it's still really cold, so putting layers on for that. So yeah, it'll be good to kind of have a little bit of a rest in between the excursions, because on my last trip with the Antarctic, we had the first 2 full days crossing the Drake Passage from Ushuaia, Argentina to Antarctica. So we had kind of that buffer at first, like the first 2 days to get accustomed, whereas here it was like immediate go, go, go. So excited to get some chill time. All right, everyone, I'm now back and it is the end of the day. Well, it's like almost 9:30, so I'm going to get ready for bed and just lay in bed and relax. So we ended up having the polar plunge, which I didn't end up doing, and then we had dinner, which was great because I was able to sit at a larger table, just chat with people, get to know people, which is always a really fun thing to be able to do on these types of trips. And then I had a bar talk that I went to where one of the employees on the ship here circumnavigated Svalbard on a kayak, and she encountered polar bears and had to pack all her food that was in these packets for like 50+ days. It was a wild story. But anyway, I'm really tired and I don't normally get seasick, and I'm crossing my fingers for that, but they did say from earlier this evening up until like 10 a.m. tomorrow we're gonna have pretty big swells, and I just kind of want to get ready for bed and lie down and just take it easy to just, yeah, you know, make it so I'm more likely to not get seasick. And then I also ended up, I know some people think this is like silly, but I broke my nail, and it actually, like, this is the nail that didn't break, but it broke like in the middle on both sides, and it was pretty bad and it hurt, and it was even to the touch, but even with that, it just really hurt. I couldn't cut it because it was way past the quick. It was bleeding, and I was feeling queasy from it because I just don't do well with that kind of stuff, and I just was sucky. And it happened right before the polar plunge, so I was like trying to deal with my nail, and I felt I was so scared it was gonna rip off like half my nail, and like any sort of movement like jumping in water would make that worse. So I just dealt with that. So I just cut down my nail to the max and then put a band-aid on, and I read a hack about a tea bag and how you can put tea bags on your nail. I just need something to like hold me over until I get home, which is, I still have another like 2 weeks because it's been a few days and I have 2.5 weeks of my trip. But yeah, so I asked for more band-aids from reception, and I just, the fact that I cut my nail all the way to like as much as I could, it makes me feel better. I just have to be very careful with it now, which is a bit frustrating, but at least tomorrow is just a sea day, so I feel better about that. But that really did put like a damper on my evening that happened, because it really hurt. And broken nails, if you know, they're no joke. But anyway, I'm going to get to bed and chill, and yeah, so I'll talk to you all tomorrow on my first full sea day on the ship at sea as we go to Greenland. So thank you all so much for watching. Bye!